Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And damn, Gina, did we have a fight this weekend?
Man, state.
Damn, so we had Terence Crawford out of Omaha, Nebraska.
AKA Bud.
AKA Pound for Pound.
AKA Undisputed 2 weight classes.
Damn, versus Errol Spence Jr. out of Dallas, Texas.
AKA The Truth. AKA The Big Fish. AKA The Grave Digger.
All of that.
All of that.
Yep. Dang, so, damn, the fight that we've been waiting for a minute now just got done, and we have an undisputed Terence Bud Crawford, and what a performance by him. What did you think about it?
Man,
did you even think it was going to go down like that?
Oh, no, I definitely didn't think it was going to be like that. I feel like most people didn't think it was going to go like that. You know, most people coming in, you know, we were looking at this fight to be, you know, Hagler Hearns, Leonard Hearns, and it wasn't those things. Right. It was definitely a one-sided ass whooping. And, you know, to give it to, you know, those are Errol Spence's words, you know, coming into this fight. He said it was going to be a one-sided ass whooping. And even when he said it, I was like, I don't think it's going to be a one-sided ass whooping eiteither way. And it turned out to be a one-sided ass whooping.
It was. And let's talk about the entrance, though, first of all, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we had Spence come out first, walking down, right? Mm-hmm. Who did he come out with? Did he come out with anybody? I don't know. I think it was probably somebody local or something.
I can't remember. Probably now, Dallas native, probably. Yeah,
but now Crawford, on the other hand.
Hey, that was probably one of my favorite ring entrances. Not only did he have Eminem, but he also came out with the fishnet outfit. I was like, oh, that was fire right there. And when we saw him come out with the fishnets, everybody we were watching the fight with was going crazy.
Yeah, we were like, are those fishnets? Oh shit!
Yeah, that was clean. Right
he came out ready. He came out ready.
So
I really like Crawford's entrance. But to talk about a little bit about Crawford, even in the fight, I think I had told you, I was like, damn, he looks small. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like he looks smaller than all his other fights. I feel like his other fights, he looked just a little bit stockier and bigger, but this one, to me, he looked a little bit smaller.
Really?
Yeah, I see him look a little smaller. Now, to kind of just jump into the fight, it's like there's much to talk about, but there's not really much to talk about because I feel like Crawford dominated all the 8 rounds. I feel like the first round, Spence had.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, he's, you know, doing some work on him. But Crawford was just setting him up and baiting. Just like feeling his punch. Yeah. Feeling his power. Because Crawford even said, like, you know, I felt his power. I wanted to fill it out. And then just round 2 through 9, dominated. Man. Dropped Errol on the second round.
Yep. Yeah, that was just an all-time great performance from Terence Bud Crawford. He's now a 2-division undisputed world champion. I believe it's first in history in a 4-belt era. And there's no doubt, there should be no doubt, you know, whether he's pound for pound number 1. He is definitely pound for pound number 1. Just for the simple fact of coming into this fight, both of these fighters were listed in the top 5 pound for pound. And what Crawford did, you know, that night to separate himself from someone like that's high in the pound for pound, that was a dominating performance. You know, you got to give it to him. That's pound for pound number 1.
Yeah, and he was using the shit out of his jab to get Errol. And for some reason, Errol just wasn't using much of a defense. I feel like, how do I say this word? Like, he was getting anxious. I feel like Spence was getting more anxious. And I feel like Crawford stuck more to his plan. It was more patient through the fights.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, definitely defensively, Errol was definitely having his issues. But I think a lot of it also, it was, you know, Crawford. I think this was the first time that he was in there with someone who was able to make Errol Spence pay for his mistakes. And every time Errol make a mistake, Terence Crawford was there to capitalize on him. Every single one. You know, and Crawford didn't use too much movement. But, you know, you talked about that jab. You know, he coming into this fight, we both talked about their jab. But, you know, them both having the top jabs in the game, But it was Terence Crawford's jab was on full effect. It was stopping Errol's momentum. And even during the fight when Errol got to the places where he wanted to be, where you would think he would have those advantages that he normally has, he really didn't have those advantages. And I think that's due to Terence Crawford, being as skilled as he is and being such a sharpshooter. And the speed of Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence was just night and day.
Yeah.
And the defense, you talked about the poise of Terence Crawford. Yeah, he was poised throughout the whole time. He was, you could tell he was locked in. And the other thing is, Errol's used to making people uncomfortable. If you watch any of his fights, he makes them uncomfortable. And Terence Crawford was literally comfortable in every position.
Amazing.
Yeah, comfortable in every position. Even on the inside, Crawford landed some good body shots. That's Errol's things.
There was a few I was like, damn, he's gonna go down on that one. He didn't go down on the body punch, but damn, he was landing them good ones, using his left hook to the body, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, and we, the counter, he was pretty much landing. He was landing everything. We're not used to seeing. No one's used to seeing Errol, take those type of shots.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
He just looked different to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like you said, of course, I'm pretty sure it's because he was in there with the Bud Crawford.
Definitely. Crawford was in there. Able to, capitalize on this. And like I said, this is the best jab that he's seen. But yeah, I agree though. Errol, we usually seeing him a lot more sharper. And like I said, coming into this fight, Errol, when he fights, he kind of goes like this. As the fight's going on. But I feel like as he was right here and going up, he never got a chance to get going.
Yeah.
Crawford, that jab dictated everything. It stopped his momentum. And it stopped his momentum. And the other thing I talked about is Terence Crawford having gears. And I felt like he pretty much stayed he didn't even have to go to you know what I'm saying? We didn't see him go to that second gear. I pretty much felt like he stayed in that same gear the whole fight. The other thing, Terence Crawford, he looked real comfortable in there fighting against a southpaw.
Absolutely.
Coming into this fight, I was curious on, Errol Spence and what kind of sparring he was getting, with the southpaw because, the way that Terence Crawford was landing, he was landing everything. I wonder if some of that is, this being his first time against a southpaw in a professional arena, and then not only is it his first time, but he's in there with an elite, great southpaw. So so that's kind of some of my thoughts about this fight. But
I ain't never seen Errol like that. It just seemed like he was out of it. Like every time he would try to get him with his power punches, it just wasn't doing anything to Crawford.
Yeah, and I feel a lot of it is because Crawford saw everything coming. He wasn't surprised by any of the shots, and so that's why, especially even on the inside, he was catching a lot of his shots. There was times, Errol Spence was trying to land shots, and Crawford would take a half step back, and Errol wouldn't even be able to touch him. So it was just a 100% just a masterful performance from an all-time great. Like
and it was crazy because I really didn't think like in the first the first drop on the second, we were like, okay, Spence might come back, and I feel like he still had a chance at some point to come back, but you want to talk about kind of your unofficial dream that you had?
Oh yeah, my unofficial dream was the fact that Errol Spence was going to get dropped. But I thought that he might, I thought that he was going to get the decision, get off the ground. But so when he got dropped, I was like, hey, my dream is coming true.
Yep.
But it didn't.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So he got dropped in that one. He got dropped again. I forgot what round was the second one. And then on the 9th round, it was just, the ref stopped it.
Yeah.
And he looked pretty bruised up.
Yeah. That was, Errol definitely took a lot of punishment in that fight. Before this fight, he really hadn't took punishment in the ring. This was, most of his punishment came from outside of the ring.
Yeah.
This was the first time we see it, Errol take this type of punishment. But man, it was definitely a all-time great performance. And this was again, coming in, this was a 50-50, but in the ring, It wasn't a 50-50. Just like the previous fight, you know, with Inoue and Fulton.
That's so crazy because I was just thinking, like, damn, these fights, like compared to back in the day when you say, like, you know, it was a 50-50 fight, like, they both performed and
they both had their success.
And lately, I feel like all these 50-50 fights has been, like, one-sided, right? Where we all think, like, this is going to be a real close fight. It's going to be this. And then one of the boxers just completely dominates the other one, which is, like, you know, I wonder what it is there compared to like the old school, because like I felt like the old school was just really, and they went like I forgot that they got the knockouts, but they would go a lot of rounds.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, some of those, I think maybe, I mean, now we got to look at it and be like, okay, well, those, you know, those, the Hagler and the Hearns, they were just matched better. They were, I mean, if we look at it, because Crawford, you know, he distanced himself. He showed, you know, when he fought Errol, you know, that, you know, he distanced himself from Errol, who was the top by pound for pound. And I think but
what I mean is, like, before they get in there and fight, you know what I mean? Before they get in there and fight, I feel like even the Fulton Inoue, it was like 50-50 fight, and then this one 50-50 fight, and it's just one completely dominated the other one.
Yeah, well, sometimes it just happens like that, though, because, I mean, we've seen it's not just this year, you know, we've seen that happen many times. But sometimes we do get those great matchups where, you know, or those great dance partners where it is a 50-50, you know, coming in and a 50-50 during the ring. This just, you know, on this night, that's just not what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, they did say that Crawford or Spence did activate his rematch clause.
Oh yeah, I mean, are you surprised by that? I mean,
no, I'm not surprised.
Exactly. We all know Errol's a dog. And he you know he was going to get his get back.
My head's still hella high, and shout out to him for saying. Also, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I still love me some Errol Spence.
Yeah, of course. You know, big. You know, we still rock with the big fish, and we don't trip on losses like that.
Yeah.
You know, he can.
And we rock with Crawford. You met Crawford. He's a real nice guy. We met Crawford. He's a real nice dude. In person.
Yeah. So shout out to both of them, because this was the fight that all of us wanted to see. All the fans. You know, this was the best fighting the best. I mean, there's nothing more that you can ask for. And I'm just so happy that both sides came together to make this fight. You got Errol Spence, who kept his promise. Hey, I'm going to get these belts, and then we're going to meet up and we're going to do this. And it happened, you know. And I'm just glad that we actually got this fight.
Yeah, and like I said, he's moving up to 154.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in paper, I felt like that's going to be their next fight, because they're wanting to activate that in December.
Yeah. So Errol said hopefully, you know, we can get this by the end of the year. He definitely wants the rematch. Yeah. So
I mean, do you think that's what's next for them? You think it'll get done?
I think it all depends on, you know, what Errol and his team wants to do. Maybe it's not by the end of the year, but maybe it'll be after. I mean, we're just kind of gonna have to wait. The other factor that kind of plays in here is the belts, you know, because, you know, there's mandatories for those belts. I felt like if Errol would have won, I felt like all the belts would have been vacated. So there wouldn't be mandatory. So it's kind of, you know, we're going to have to see what Terence Crawford is going to have to do.
So Crawford's going to stay, you think, at 147?
He's got options. See, they even asked him in the post fight, and he was like, oh, you know, I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to see. But, I mean, if Errol activates the rematch clause, then, you know, the rematch is going to definitely happen.
Well, yeah, but then you have to decide. It's going to be up to Crawford if he wants to rematch at 154
or
at 147, right?
Yeah. And it seemed like in the post fight that Terence Crawford was definitely willing to go to 154, because he even mentioned, you know, it was hard for him to make the weight at 147. And we already know Errol, you know, everyone knows that it's been hard for him to make this weight. So the fact that he came out and said that it's hard for him to make, you know, it was harder for him to make it this time, he would welcome a 154. So I think it's more so, you know, when it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think for Spence, and like you said, as a dog that he is, he's going to want to be like, I want that rematch. Yeah. But his team has to look out for him and see, is that the best step for you?
But I'll say both, I mean, it was a one-sided fight, but I think that both fighters, you know, and what Errol has accomplished, he definitely, you know, deserves a rematch if he wanted to get that rematch clause, you know, for sure. You know, both fighters, I mean, they're not going to get, this is the most money that they're going to get, you know, paying, you know, fighting against each other. And there's, you know, like I said, there's been a lot of talk already about, you know, Errol moving up to 154. I'm curious to see how he's going to look at 154, you know, and you know how that those extra pounds.
That's what I'm
Because a lot of and I'll say this: I was glad to see that when he made his post say 154, because me personally, I did not want to see him come back to 147.
Make that 147.
I did not want to see it again.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the fight pretty much. It's one-sided.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the rematch happens if Spence team feels that he's good to go right into it in a few months.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes, or maybe one fight in between, or something. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. But congratulations, Crawford and his mom. I forgot it was his mom's birthday that day, so he said, I ain't losing my mom's birthday. Yep. And she brought her dancing shoes.
She did, and she was dancing. So shout out to them for that.
Omaha.
But let's kind of talk a little bit though. Let's get into some of these other matches. So if it does rematch, doesn't happen, or what fight are you most looking forward to?
So I feel like
we'll start with Crawford.
Well, with Crawford, I feel like the next one they're calling out is Boots, because is Boots one of the mandatory for one of the belts?
Yeah, I think he would be the mandatory for the IBF, I believe.
So I feel like at that level, that's probably one of the other challenges I would say in that division for Crawford.
At 147.
And I know that Crawford has said he'd be open to it.
Yeah.
I think they were talking even before about at some point fighting, and he said that Boots turned it down, and Boots was like, man, I ain't never turned it down, whoop de whoop. But I feel like
Okay.
That fight would be the one I think everybody would want to watch next.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, especially, everybody would love to see that, just for the simple fact that they do so many things, that in common. We've seen Boots kind of do it all. They're both switch hitters. Both got power. They knocking guys out. So both got that athleticism. And I think that would be a good fight too. The other one I'm gonna say is the Jermell Charlo fight.
But that's gonna be at 154.
Yeah, that's gonna be at one. Yeah, that's fine. We can talk about it because he's already mentioned of going 154, and what he said was after Errol Spence, he was coming straight for who? Jermell Charlo. Yeah. So, and that's a fight I would love to see also. And we know Jermell Charlo is going up to fight Canelo, and he's moving up 2 weight classes for the chance to be also a 2-division undisputed.
Dang,
so
imagine that
imagine
that he beats Canelo, he gets the undisputed.
It's a tall task, but that would
Dang.
Yeah, so that would be so that's a matchup I would love to see. And I know the press conference for that fight would be crazy. The trash talking, this one. Yeah, because we know this one was more, respectful, and that other one, that ain't gonna be it.
That's because Mel's been talking about it.
They've already been going at it.
Yes. And Mel even said, I ain't done that 154. I'm coming back. So
because I know Mel gonna want to get that fight too.
Yeah, and it's gonna be even a good storyline, because it's gonna be like, he's trying to come back and avenge his, boy or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I know Spence ain't gonna like the come back and avenge his.
I know. We know Smith's gonna want to get that first. We know Smith's gonna want to get that first.
But I mean, of course, I think everybody would want to see that at 154.
I think that would be that's the one.
And that would be the best fight, the best still, and we would love that shit.
Yeah, so the rematch. Jermell Charlo, Duran, Boots Ennis. That's another one. That's another one of my favorites. But that would be exciting.
Yeah, but what about Spence?
Okay.
At 154.
So Spence, it's gonna be. We know Spence. He's team no tune-up. I'm gonna just throw a couple out of there. If it's not the rematch, he's got since we know that his a stable mate. Jermell Charlo has all the titles, so we know that probably wouldn't be it. Mm-hmm. But he can definitely fight either a Brian Mendoza for his interim title. Mm-hmm. Or you got a Fundora, or you got a Tim Tszyu. You also got Tim Tszyu. That would be a big fight, just for the simple fact of Tim Tszyu's got the Australia fan base, and that would be. I think that would be another big. Yeah, I'd like to see that one. I'll say this though, a fight that would have been good. I would have liked to see Errol Spence versus Brian Castano, if Brian Castano was active.
Brian Castano, where you at?
Yeah, where you at, bro?
We want to see you back.
But
you had a good fight.
That would have been good, just for the simple fact of their history of fighting in the amateurs. I think that would have been good. Yeah. I'm gonna say this. That, I don't know how many people are feel this way, but I also wouldn't mind Errol Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman at 154.
gosh.
For the simple fact,
You love you some Keith Thurman.
no. For the simple fact of, Keith, he didn't give him that, that opportunity when he was coming up the ranks, and now he want to talk all this mess about Errol. Now that Errol lost, Now he want to talk all that. Okay, well then go ahead and come up to 154 and fight Errol then.
You want to see like a 147?
No, he's at 147. But he just waiting around for a big fight. We've all wanted to see him fight Boots too. Like Keith Thurman. We don't, man. Yeah, let's just leave Keith. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, there's fights to be made.
Definitely
for both fighters.
Definitely.
But we just have to see, wait and see if that rematch is gonna happen. It has to probably be at 154, like you said.
Yep.
Spence going back to 147.
Yes.
Long shot.
No shot. but yeah.
Still the big fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's always gonna be the big fish.
Yeah.
For sure.
But damn, man, Crawford, what a performance!
What a performance! Pound for pound performance. Made history.
For sure.
He's an all-time great. People were talking about he doesn't have those opponents. He got in there. He got to do that against an Errol Spence. There's nothing really left to say.
Yep.
He's gonna
elite top.
So we just can't wait to see what's next for him. But that's all we got. Let us know below what you thought of the fight, or and who you guys want to see these guys fight next. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And we out.